Let's review that thing. This is the Rise to the Top podcast, episode number 3, 2017, in review: the good, the bad, the ugly, and the revenue numbers. And welcome everyone to the Rise to the Top podcast. I'm David Siteman Garland, aka DSG. If I sound out of breath, not only am I excited for this episode, of course I'm excited. I think I was born excited. But I just got back from the gym and I said, you know what? It is time to get a little podcasting in, my friends, because this is the hat trick. This is episode number 3, the trifecta of the podcast launch. And I mentioned that in episode 1 and 2, that the new hotness, I guess, nowadays with podcasting that I learned from John Lee Dumas and Pat Flynn is that you want to do 3 episodes when launching, or in this case, relaunching a podcast. So this is episode number 3, and this is all about the 2017 in review: the good, the bad, the ugly, and revenue numbers. Now, I'm also going to get into 2018 in this episode as well. And it's funny that I'm doing this now in March 2018. That's where we're at. But, you know, we're still in quarter 1, so this is still very, very relevant. 2017, I don't think was all that far away, was it? I don't know. It kind of seems like it was, but who knows? So in this episode, I'm going to break down, 2017, what worked, what didn't, other craziness, and also where I'm focusing on 2018 as well. So why? Why are we doing this? What's the deal here? So, of course it's therapeutic for me, but really it's about lessons that I'm hoping that you can apply for your business. And I've said this before in the first couple of episodes here, and I'm sure I'm going to be saying this a lot throughout this entire podcast. And we've got so many more episodes coming up, shows with just me, shows with guests, all kinds of cool stuff going on. But I love learning, the behind the scenes and these kind of what's really going on behind the curtain of people's businesses. And that for me has always been just such a great learning lesson, because a lot of times you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes with businesses. You see kind of the flashy marketing. You see people, saying they just launched something and made, $26 million in, 4 seconds or whatever it might be. And you never really know what's going on behind the scenes. And that's really an emphasis of the show, because I think it just shows, it brings a lot to light: the struggles, the realness, all the different things that go into creating a successful online business, especially one, like mine, where it's based on my personal brand. It's based on my personal brand. So that's really the reason for this. I hope you can pick up some good tidbits, shenanigans, all that kind of stuff as well. And by the way, in case you missed the first 2 episodes, you probably figured this out by now, but I'm back with the podcast. And why I'm back and all those details, you can find that in episode 1. You go to therisetop.com/episode 1. And then in episode 2, I broke down my business, aka how I make money. And I went through kind of the different buckets of what we do and how the ideas came to me, and also the lessons for you as well. That's episode number 2 at therisetop.com/episode number 2. Okay, so let's talk about 2017, which was an exciting, really interesting, and also challenging year, to say the least, for sure. And, the biggest personal change as we get into business stuff was kid number 2. My son Kobe was born on August 2nd. And, for those of you that have kids, this. But for those that don't as well, it's a game changer for many reasons, not only in your life, right? And not only all those things, but also for your business, because there's things you need to take care of. There's also all the emotions that go with that, the busyness of it, making sure my wife's okay, making sure kids are okay, taking care of kids. That's a lot of stuff that you have to deal with. And that's one of the things I love about the flexibility of a business, is that, I work from home, which sometimes can be challenging with 2 kids for sure. But I love the idea that, I could slip away, work on something for a little bit. I took some time off, all those types of things as well. And that's really what you get with a business like this, is that, when you're turning yourself and your personality and you into a brand and products and businesses and things like that, is that you also have to keep in mind that you have to enjoy the lifestyle of this. I mean, I see too many people that work 24/7, and I'm not saying that there aren't times where you're working extra hard, but you also have to know when to pull back and really be enjoying the things and not just be that stressed out individual all the time. And in upcoming episodes, we'll talk more about that automation and things that you can do. But, was able to get some time off for sure, which was much needed with Kobe coming. And that was really a big personal change in 2017 for sure. So I'm going to start with what worked, and then I'm going to get into what didn't work, and then we'll talk about revenue numbers, and we'll also talk about then looking ahead to this exciting year. So we'll go in that order. So what worked? So the first thing that was really cool in 2017 that's worked really well and continues to work really well for us, as I take a sip of my protein shake here, is what we call the super funnel. So the super funnel is, of course, we call it the super funnel, is something that we put together. It's kind of an advanced thing. We use Ontraport for our emails. I'll put a link to Ontraport below. But we learned this from one of my most successful students, Renee Christine, who you probably heard of, and I'll have her on an upcoming episode as well, and this can be talked about among many things with her. But what we've done is we have all these different, products, programs, courses, my software, all these different things out there. And the experience for everyone getting a promotion varies, right? Because we do a lot of live promotions, we do automated promotions, etc. So we said to ourselves, what if we could take all our promotions, right? All our promotions. So for Create Awesome Online Courses and for Course Cats and for Create Awesome Webinars and also great content emails that I've written over the last, 5-6 years, and update those. What if we could create those all into a big funnel where when people sign up for something on my email list, eventually they're going to get all this great content, maybe spread out over a year, right? Or 6 months, whatever it might be. So we created this big automated funnel, and it took a lot of work, a lot of effort. And, it's one of those things that's definitely an advanced move here as I'm in year 10 of business. But what it allows someone to do is let's say a subscriber comes in, let's say they sign up for a webinar, okay? And depending on what happens with that webinar, maybe they buy a program, maybe they don't, okay? They then get dropped into the super funnel, and then the super funnel is going to send them content emails, the super funnel is going to send them promotions, the super funnel is going to send them all kinds of stuff, all automatically. So now, instead of just getting random broadcast blasts from me, which people, get to, you're actually going down a very, very long-term funnel. So what was nice about the super funnel is it really has freed up time for me, for sure, and it continues to retarget people with products and programs and making sure that we're top of mind and they're getting consistent content in their email box from us. So the super funnel was just a ginormous thing for us in 2017. And like I said, it was not an easy thing. It wasn't a push button thing or anything like that, but we basically looked at all our successful live campaigns and emails and said, how can we turn these into automated? And we did that, and that has been a huge hit. The other one was AuthorCats. So AuthorCats, I talked about in the last episode 2, about how that's a collaboration between myself, Nick Stevenson, who is the author man, and Brad Hogan, who's the web developer. And AuthorCats has been killer. I mean, off to about 200K in sales just in the last part of the year last year in 2017. And it's funny, a few lessons from AuthorCats that are really interesting is that number one, AuthorCats is very different than anything else I've ever done because I'm sort of the middleman on AuthorCats. I'm not the face of the brand. Nick is the face of the brand. Nick is the marketer, and he's the person that has an audience of authors. Brad is the technology and the development piece, and I'm kind of the monkey in the middle, if you will. So meaning I help Brad with things. I help Nick with things in terms of marketing. I've launched 2 successful software products, Course Cats and Conversion Cats, so I kind of know what works and what doesn't work. But it's a really interesting position for me because I don't want to say it's more passive, but it's not my brand. It's not literally David Siteman Garland on every page or anything like that. In fact, I'm nowhere. I can't be found anywhere on the AuthorCats website. So it was a different role for me, and it was really kind of cool, and I've really enjoyed that, just being a little bit different. AuthorCats is just off to a fantastic start. And a good lesson on AuthorCats, though, I want to share is that, it was really almost 2 years in the making from idea to launch. And I know that might sound crazy. Maybe it's a little bit less than that. But Nick first came up with the idea, came to us in 2016, and then the launch ended up being 2017. Now, you might think, well, oh my God, that seems like a very long time, but you got to realize, to the victor goes the spoils there. I mean, patience and working hard on this was critical. We wanted to make sure we got it right, not necessarily perfect, but wanted to make sure we got it right. We got the launch out there with a bang, and at the end of the day, we were rewarded kind of for that patience and making sure this product was something killer. And so it's do-it-yourself website and marketing tools for authors. That was just a big, big win in 2017. Almost didn't make it in 2017, right? It came out like in the last quarter of 2017. I said, oh my God, we got to get this out before the end of 2017. So we did a killer launch with that. We offered lifetime access for the first wave of people that bought AuthorCats, which is the same thing we did with our other software products. And then now we've got monthly and yearly plans that are doing really, really well with AuthorCats as well. So that was really a big win for 2017. Now, another big win, and I would just say this overall, and I kind of hinted at this a little bit in the first podcast here on episode 1, was that my time was really freed up in 2017, big time. I mean, I'm always someone that works hard, but I love my free time. I love time with family and things like that. And we had a lot of really, really good automation last year, really in 2016 as well, but 2017 especially. Of course, I do live webinars. Of course, I do, videos and emails, and I'm in my Facebook group for Create Awesome Online Courses, our private Facebook group for customers, basically every single day. But I would have to say on the stress level, this year, 2017 was relatively low. I mean, I had freed up a lot of time, and that allows me now to do fun creative projects like this, like bringing back the podcast and things like that, really because of that. Without that, I could be a stressed out person. But now with things like AuthorCats, which are a little bit more passive for me, with our software companies and then other things, a lot of stuff, what I'm doing, there's more free time, which I absolutely love. And that doesn't mean to say that we're not working hard and we got lots of things, but I really felt more freed up on time, which was great in 2017 and now in 2018 as well. So I can do cool stuff like this for you. Create Awesome Online Courses. So my Create Awesome Online Courses program, for those that you don't know, that's my number one program, teaches people how to create and sell online courses. The program is $997 or 12 payments of $97. So we got the big ol' payment plan. And last year we did 1,215 sales of Create Awesome Online Courses, which was fantastic. Those sales came from a few different ways. One, joint venture webinars. So we do those. They're basically one-time live events that I do with a variety of really high-quality partners. Some of my best partners, John Lee Dumas, Pat Flynn, Renee Christine, Nick Stevenson, David Newman, and there's others as well. Apologies if you're listening and you're one of my top partners and I didn't say your name. Trust me, Uncle DSG loves you. But JV webinars were one of the key things for Create Awesome Online Courses for sure. Facebook ads and our automated funnels would be the other major things. And we also did some, special, live promotions and things like that as well. So those were kind of the three categories. So JV webinars, our automated funnels, and our weekly evergreen sales, which is really our bread and butter. And then we have that third category, which is the 1 to 2 live promotions that we do a year where we throw in an extra bonus or something cool like that. So 1,215 sales of Create Awesome Online Courses, which is great. Another great positive of 2017 was continued customer success stories on all products and programs. And that is really what keeps me going. And, for those, most of you I'm sure have an online business or are looking to start an online business or create online courses and all kinds of things like that. And, in many cases, the business can be lonely in certain times. And people say that all the time because, yes, you're teaching, you're doing these things, but you're behind the computer a lot. There's different things that you do. And I love hearing any success stories from the small to the really, really big, because those really keep me going and they should keep you going as well. So when you hear great things from your customers, whether it's an email, a note, something in the mail, use that as fuel, use that as fire, especially when things aren't going as great, really, really think about that as well. So great success stories in 2017, and we had some really killer ones. One of my longtime students, Brian Kessler, who teaches people CPAs how to pass the CPA exam, he crossed 7 figures in revenue, which made me very happy, into a 7-figure club. And we had lots of just really, really cool, interesting stories. I mean, Shane Olson's one of my favorites. I'll make sure to get him on the podcast at some point. He used to work at Disney, and he did a 3D animation for them, like characters and things like that. Unfortunately, he was laid off, but had this great skill. And he now teaches an online course on creating 3D characters. And that is so cool. And he's now hit over 250,000 in sales with that course, which is just absolutely killer. And he's making way more than what he made at Disney. And he loves it. He's got the freedom and really made a lemonade out of lemons there and is really taking control of his business. So when I hear stories like that, that really makes me excited as well. And I love also hearing about stories and random kind of topics and niches like Shane, because one of the biggest myths about online courses out there is that the only successful online courses are about making money or business. And by the way, nothing wrong with that. Of course, there's extremely successful courses on making money in business and things like that, but there's literally thousands and thousands and thousands on other topics that have absolutely nothing to do with making money in business. Shane is a great example of one of those. Another good one is Rachel Bowman, who's an aerialist, which is, think Cirque du Soleil up in the sky with silks. She's doing backflips and stuff on the silks. And she now has a 6-figure business as well. So you really see these all kinds of interesting topics and niches as online education continues to grow, which is really cool. And then the final thing that was really awesome about 2017 is we were in position to hire more people that started in 2018. So that was very exciting, is that we expanded our team now big time in 2018. We've got Marie, who's now our marketing coordinator. So it's the first time we hired someone specifically in marketing, which is really cool. So she's doing our advertising and she's working on partnerships and lots of things. And her role is going to expand over time. So Marie started in January this year, but she was a 2017 hire, which was great. And just something that, again, adds more leverage into our business. And we've got a very small team. You know, my team is myself, my dad, who's the vice president and also heads up customer service, Lindsay, who is our operations manager, Marie, who is our marketing coordinator, and Eleanor, who just started in customer service and support. And Eleanor, who just got started as well relatively recently, was another new hire as we were able to free up some spots for her position. So expanding team is always exciting, and it's funny, the team is all over the place as well, all over the United States. We've got people, which is extra fun. So my dad's here in St. Louis, Lindsay's in Oklahoma, Marie, I think, is in Pennsylvania, and I want to say Eleanor's in Kansas. Hard to keep track of everybody, but I'll talk more on upcoming episodes too, maybe about running a virtual team and how that works and how that works with our company and what to look for in team members as you grow your business. You know, we'll get into all that stuff. We got plenty of time. We don't want to rush it all here in just episode 3, right? We got other things to cover, all right? So I'm just slamming this protein shake here as we do this podcast. So deep breath, what didn't work, okay? And I love sharing this stuff with you, not because I love things that don't work. Of course, I don't like things that don't work, is that I share this because I feel like people do not like to share these things. They're embarrassed or they feel awkward or uncomfortable. But listen, everyone screws up stuff. I screw up stuff every single year. Things don't work. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe it was an external force. But you know what? I'm responsible for my business and the decisions we make and the things that happen. And, you know, there's always learning lessons available from these on things that didn't work. So first thing that did not work was we were going to do an event. So it was going to be called Awesome Course Creators Live. And the idea on this event was that it was going to be a small, intimate group of high-end course creators, high ticket price, very intimate 2.5-day event, kind of VIP style here in St. Louis. It was $10,000 for the event. I think we had 5 or 6 signups for it, which you might look on paper and say, oh my God, that could be worth doing, 5 or 6 people, and maybe it would have been. But I honestly think we just kind of priced it a little too high. And I wanted to make it a super VIP crazy experience and maybe just missed the mark a little bit with it. Maybe the timing wasn't right. What I also heard from a lot of kind of my top students was not necessarily balking at the price, but more that they were already committed that weekend. So I don't know if I just didn't get it out soon enough. I don't know if it was maybe the pricing a little bit, but maybe we'll try it again in the future. But that was just something when you're in business for a longer period of time, as you gain more experience, you start to kind of go with gut on certain things. And I just didn't have a good gut feeling on it once I kind of saw the signups and who couldn't make it and who could make it. So we canceled that, course refunded everyone. And I just think, maybe next time, I don't know, it could be a little bit of a different thing. But the event, that was something that did not work in 2017. And also a membership site. And I've tried a couple membership sites before, and it's just not my cup of tea. It just quite isn't. I love courses. I love software. Just not a big fan of this model. And for the membership site, we did kind of a more advanced membership site. We called it Create Awesomer Online Courses, which used to be the name of my mastermind. But it was a monthly membership with What's Working Now training and a Facebook group. And for me, honestly, the people in there were fantastic. It was great people, but the time versus return wasn't quite there. So I was spending a lot of time on it. It was $197 a month, and I think we had like 15 people or so. And we had like a really strong vetting process for it. So we had applications and we had interviews, we had different things that you had to do to get in. And we just didn't have the numbers to really, really grow that based on the time and kind of the effort spent on it. So again, it was kind of a gut thing. I mean, maybe if I stuck with it, we could have grown it really big. But like I said, you get into these things and you could kind of have a feeling. You're like, this just isn't, whatever reason, it's just not for me, or it's not working as well. So it kind of felt a little treadmill-y. It felt like a lot of effort in there. Again, it had nothing to do with the people in there. The people in there were amazing. I mean, like, we're talking killer course creators and stuff like that, but it just wasn't a good use of my time to grow the business. And something that I've learned, I actually repeated this to someone at a coffee shop yesterday because we were talking about business stuff, is that, not every good idea you should do. Because there's a million different good ideas out there. It might be something that's a great idea, but does it make sense for you? Does it make sense for your business? Is it the best use of your time? Are you going to love it or are you going to dread it? Those are things to really think about, because there's plenty of good ideas, but you got to make sure to implement on things that you really, really like. I mean, I love Create Awesome Online Courses. I love our CourseCats products and other software. I love my other courses, but this just didn't feel right. And sometimes you just got to pull the trigger and get rid of it. And that's what it was as well. Another one, I'm not going to get into extreme detail on this, but in the spirit of being 100% transparent, which of course I love being with you because that's what this is all about, is that we lost a key employee towards the end of 2017 rather unexpectedly. So Alyssa unfortunately left the company. She had her own reasons for that. And that was something that was challenging for us. I mean, because it was very, very unexpected. And the thing is, what you learn as an entrepreneur and a business owner, things like this happen. It's unfortunate, but it happens. It's one of those things, it's tough on everybody. It was tough for many reasons. It was tough timing, like really right at the end of the year. But you know what? We ended up bucking up and saying, all right, we're going to come out of this stronger. And we have been. Lindsay got a massive promotion. She's now our operations manager and has been just a godsend, to say the least. Without her, we'd be in big trouble. And we were also then able to shift some things around and hire more people, including Eleanor. So it ends up working out. Was it great? Was it super fun? No, it was a stress bomb at the end of the year and for many reasons, right? But you know what? We deal with it. We roll through it. And that's just part of being a business owner and part of being an entrepreneur. You got to sometimes deal with those kind of awkward, difficult situations and roll on. Okay. So that was kind of a synopsis of what worked, what didn't work in 2017. Let's talk revenue numbers. I mentioned 1,215 sales of Create Awesome Online Courses, and our revenue last year, 2017, was very similar to 2016. Okay, so very similar to 2016. So it put us in the between like two. It's still final stuff is coming in, and it depends on how you look at it. And I'm talking about not future sales or anything like that. I'm talking about literally revenue collected. Okay, don't get blinded by people that make up these numbers by saying like, oh well, we have a payment plan and I'm just going to count all the payments on the payment plan, even though they're not paid yet. No, I'm talking about money collected. That's what revenue is. Literally money coming in. Here it is, goes into the account, right? So we were somewhere between 2.2 and 2.4 million last year, which was similar to 2016, give or take. And, I'm happy with it. I mean, I think it was a relatively challenging year last year. I think that what's happened in this kind of courses and online business space, and I think this is something that's very exciting now, is I think you had a lot of kind of opportunity seekers and kind of scammy people and kind of yucky jerkosauruses that sort of had been in this industry and sort of polluted it a little bit, and now they're out because they move on to the next thing. That's what those people do. And I think now we're continuing to see people that have been here for the long run or want to be here for the long run, right? And are thinking long term and taking great care of their customers and building really courses and programs that make a difference and putting good effort into it and focusing on things that are important, like customer service. Those are the people that are going to be around. So I think sometimes those people got in and kind of clouded the space, and now a lot of them have moved on. And now we're seeing a massive resurgence here in growth in 2018. I just think the opportunity really has never, ever, ever been greater here in this space, which is very, very exciting for those that want it. For those that want it, want to put the work in and want to put the effort in and are willing to keep going. That's what it's all about, you know? So looking ahead to this year, I know we're here like towards the end of Q1 this year, but you know what? We still have things to look ahead to. And one thing that we started planning in 2017 that now is out, hey, yippee, was the podcast, right? Bringing that back. And, you know, it's a great creative outlet. It's a great thing for myself, but you know, it's for you guys. It's for connecting better with you and sharing some more behind the scenes things and bringing on, you know, friends and influencers and cool people to talk on here and just doing something that's really, really different than out there. So very excited about the podcast. Very excited about our new team members, our new, you know, employees and our team as we continue to grow. I'm working on an ebook. I don't think it'll be out by the time you see this episode. It will be out soon, but I'm taking my 7 steps to creating, promoting, and profiting from online courses, my system, and I'm actually turning it into an ebook as well, which is going to be great and a primer for people and get people excited about online courses and teach them cool stuff. And I'm going to have that ebook very, very soon, if not already. And I'll make sure that I obviously pimp that heavily on the podcast. I mean, duh, of course. So ebook, I'm very excited about that. And in ebook, I'll talk more about the strategy. Maybe I'll bring Nick Stevenson on and we could talk about kind of the ebook strategy as well, which we talk about in one of my courses called Grow Your Email List Like a Freaking Weed. But there's a strategy behind the ebook, and I'll talk about what the goals are with that, what it does, how we're using it in our business, etc., on a future episode. Let's see. Also, Course Cats just went through a really cool design and feature update. This was actually more towards January this year, but this was just super cool, is that we updated the design and kind of some of the features of Course Cats. Now you can have a blog with Course Cats. You can do a free video series pages. There's more landing pages. There's all kinds of cool stuff. And also new monthly pricing plans, which is really cool. So it used to be yearly and quarterly. Now you can do yearly and monthly. So it's a much more affordable option for people that want that with a 14-day trial as well. The other thing is that we brought in Tim Page to do webinars for Course Cats. So Tim Page, if you don't know, used to work at Lead Pages. He was there, I think he was called a conversion specialist or something like that. And we brought Tim in to do webinars for Course Cats. And that is really, really cool. So he's doing a weekly live webinar teaching people about things with online courses, and then also a special offer for Course Cats with a trial and everything as well. I'll make sure to put the link to that in the show notes if you want to check that out. I think coursecats.com/Tim is one of the links, but I'll find that and make sure you guys have that link in the show notes for you. So go to theRiseTop.com/episode 3. And you can find all that kind of stuff in the show notes. Let's see, we're going to be updating the RiseTop.com website soon. So we're going to have a new design, a little fresh look. We use Conversion Cats for that. So there's going to be some design changes and new cool stuff with Conversion Cats. And when that comes out, we're going to be kind of doing an overhaul, how to do a new, you know, sexy photo shoots and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to have some cool new stuff coming on the RiseTop.com. Obviously, Author Cats is going to be a big focus this year with Nick really growing that, and Brad and I, and that's a huge thing, reaching authors and author-like people, which is going to be awesome as well. And also, you know, more proper JV webinars for Create Awesome Online Courses. And I say proper because we look for just amazing partners and we really customize them. And in 2018, we did a really exciting one in January this year with Renee Christine, who's one of my very successful students who teaches stay-at-home moms how to create successful handmade businesses. And what we did is I took my Create Awesome Online Courses webinar and I customized it specifically for stay-at-home moms with handmade businesses. And we taught how you can use courses to add 5, 6, or 7 figures to the bottom line of an existing business, which is a really kind of different angle. So what I love this year is that when we do joint venture webinars with our big partners and new partners that we don't even know about yet, that come to us and say, hey, I've got a great audience for courses. And we say, hey, let's do a webinar together. We'll split the revenue. We'll have a good time and, give free valuable training away and have a special offer. What I love is that we're able to customize a lot more this year. I think that's really a word of the year would be customize with those webinars and making sure they really hit home on the exact audience that we're reaching with that specific webinar. So, there we go. That's really what we're focusing on 2018. And, a lesson from this, and I like to pull lessons from all these stories, is the most dangerous thing you can do is be satisfied and scared to try new things. And I've heard this from great coaches in the past in sports. I've heard coaches that have reached the mountaintop and they say, well, what happened? Why'd you start sliding back? Or why was there a decline? And they say, I don't know. We were just scared to try new stuff. What was working, and we just we didn't want to innovate anymore. And we just we're happy with the status quo. Will there be tons of failure? You bet. But with failure comes learning lessons and more things to try. What you don't want to do is make the same mistakes over and over again. So keep trying new stuff. Stay, when you get in the groove of something working, of course you want to double and triple down on that, but never be afraid to try new traffic sources, new marketing methods, new things like that are going to have the biggest payoff, because the worst thing you want to be is stagnant over time, my friends. All right. So that's the lesson. That's the takeaway from this. Important links on the way out. therisetotop.com/subscribe. Go there. You'll see all the ways you can subscribe to this wonderful and lovely podcast. Choose 1, choose 2, choose 10. Subscribe yourself up, absolutely free. And specifically, we also have a link. iTunes will be on that page as well, but you can also go to therisetotop.com/iTunes. And if you're on iTunes, leave us a fun review. Say something good. I was going to say something, but say something good. Say something. If you like the show, leave some love on there. If you don't like the show, just quietly move on with your day. No reason to say anything. But if you do like the show, leave some love as well. This was the third episode here in the trifecta of the launch of the Rise to Top podcast, or the relaunch here, as the podcast was from 2008 to 2013, and now we're all back, my friend, in 2018, and this was the third episode, but don't worry, episode number 4 is coming your way very, very soon. Oh, so soon. I can taste it. So make sure to subscribe up, and we will get into that next episode coming soon, my friends. All right. Well, that's it. This has been the Rise to Top podcast. I'm David Siteman Garland, aka DSG. And if you want some fluff, you know what to do. Go pet a bunny.